Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the HR Leaders Podcast, the show where we explore the future of work with industry experts and HR executives from the world's leading global brands. Today, I'm joined by Gabrielle Patello, who's the HR Director for South America at CGG. Welcome to the show, Gabrielle. How are you?
Hi, Chris. I'm good. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Well, thanks for joining us. We was all admiring your artwork before the show in the background. Very, very impressive.
Thank you.
Before we jump in, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself personally and your journey to where we are today.
Yes, perfect. So I'm Gabrielle Botelho. I have been working in HR for around 17 years now, but I'm not that old. And in different companies, from multinational companies and local companies in Brazil as well. So as L'Oreal, Equinor, former Statoil, and now at CGG as HR Director for South America. Responsible for all the HR disciplines and focusing a lot on the talent and organization development and leadership as well.
Fantastic. And you also are quite active, aren't you, on social media? And what inspired you to put out content and be active?
Yeah, I love what I do. I'm really passionate about HR. And I think LinkedIn is a great platform to share and learn a lot. So I'm always adding people, connecting to people to get the better than you can exchange and really develop your networking that is meaningful for both parts,
Mm-hmm. Well, if everyone listening, make sure you head over to Gabriella's LinkedIn page, follow her there, and check out some of the recent articles, a lot of which we're going to be talking about on today's show. So make sure you go and do that there as well. So before we jump into the topic at hand, obviously, what's sort of top of mind for you?
So I think at the moment it's about taking care of ourselves a lot in all senses. It's we are human. We are facing a tough moment with the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, and we need to take care of ourselves and the ones we love.
And was that one of the inspirations behind the articles and stuff you've been writing? Obviously, we're talking about supporting employees' well-being during lockdown. Could you share more about the article that you recently shared?
Yes. I recently wrote this article about the workers' well-being and the importance of really take care of the people, because at the end, our companies and organizations, we exist because of the people. I think maybe it's a little common sense what I'm saying now, but who is responsible for delivering results? People. Who is responsible for making the future happen with innovation, with creativity? Our people. Who is responsible for the relationship with the customers? Our people. So if you don't take care of your people, they will not take care of your customers and business. And so for us, it's really important to take care of our people, really develop them, and not only to see them as a resource from the company, someone that is delivering results, but as a human being. So it's for me, it's about creating a win-win relationship. So it's the individual needs as it comes to development, career, and future ahead, and also about the business needs. So how can we combine both to really create a win-win relationship for long-term commitment, for example?
Mm-hmm. Great. And could you share some examples?
Yes, right now it's quite challenging because of the COVID-19 pandemic, as I said, but I can illustrate a bit prior to that. So when you sit together to discuss develop plans, for example, development career. So we focus on the individual, but also we are focused on the business need. And sometimes it's not clear for the professional, for our employee itself to see the opportunities that the company can offer as well. So it's something that we need to explain, need to clarify, we need to build together. So I think it's a partnership between the employee, the HR, and the line manager. So we all together working for a better future for the employee itself. So we have an agreement, and of course it's a plan. It can change along the way. People can change their minds, but it's something that you need to project, okay, these are the possibilities. So I could go to the professional pipeline. I don't want the leadership pipeline, but have you wondered about that? Is there this opportunity as well? Have you considered this? So it's something that you need to discuss openly.
Yeah, and I love the simple 7 steps that you outlined in your article. Could you go through them, in terms of the implementation of the mental health guide?
Yes, for sure. So when this crisis started, Chris, we tried to do it was to create a leadership guideline for them. So, okay, from now on, 100% of a workforce is working from home. So, which will be the chance that we really need to face on the way forward? Not as the past. We are not on daily basis with our employees anymore. We are talking through videos. We are talking to just voices sometimes because I see that people are also avoiding some video. Okay, it's just about voices at this moment. So we started, for example, with simple rules, simple steps for our leaders to really understand their role on the way forward, because it's not easy for them as well. Okay, it's a big change for all of us. We are all facing the same storm. We are not in the same boat. I joke with this because we face this challenge in a different way. We have different needs. We are different. So we need to consider our different perspectives along the way. Okay, what works for me maybe will not work for you, and it will not work for other person. So we need to be flexible and adapt along the way. So one of the first thing we decided to put in this guideline was, for example, to not communicate too much. It can be weird, but sometimes we have so much information to digest. We are all the times with mail, calls, and the chats that we are not able to do our work. We are not able to disconnect to really be productive. So, for example, I was talking to some leaders and they are telling me, I have around 80, 90 meetings per day with my team. Come on. What time are you working?
Yeah, that's the thing about technology, right? It doesn't stop, because I found the same thing. I was like, I'm going from one Zoom call to the next, to the next, to the next, and I'm like, it's too much. Because
Yes, too much.
in an office, there's a natural break, right? There's natural breaks in your day, in the way, in your activities. But when you're doing it virtual, it doesn't turn off. You've got,
Yes.
my evening ends here in the UK, and then I have clients and colleagues in the US that now start, and they're sending me messages, setting up calls. So I completely get that point. Too much information.
Too much. And then you have to in home office scheme, and because you work on this for a long time now, you need more breaks than usual. Why? Because you don't have the right furniture for your work. Sometimes you don't have the right machine, and then your eyes could you can be tired much more than in a normal office scheme. So you need to go around, to have your coffee, to stand up, stretch the legs, this kind of stuff. And but the issue is the following: our leaders are really focused on command and control. It's unfortunately what's happening. So in this currently situation, they cannot think that they can control everything, because they can't. No one can control everything. So we need to delegate, we need to guide and support along the way, but you need to give room for our employees to produce, to deliver their tasks, to really be responsible for their roles. So we need really to switch from command and control to support and guidance to really be productive during this time. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So it's something that you are building along the way.
None of us have led in this environment. It's difficult. So we have to also understand that as well. We're expecting a lot from our leaders during these times when they've never had to manage remotely. They know what they know, right? And they're used to seeing people work and being there physically in the room, communicating. And now all of a sudden, they can't see what's happening.
Absolutely. And it's in a very atypical moment, because it's not a home office scheme, a common one, because we are in isolation, we are in lockdown, we are facing a very severe situation with this virus. We don't know how it will be, how the future will look like. So it's a lot of uncertainty. So it's really managing through uncertainty. So they are taking care of themselves as individual, as a person, and also taking care of the teams. So what they can do to really support the team while they are learning how to face it by themselves as well.
Yeah. One of the other things that you spoke about in your article, which really stood out to me, is practicing empathy.
Yeah.
We need that now more than ever. We have children at home. We have people looking after the elderly at home. We have people that are vulnerable right now, and it's hard. You can't see that through an email, through a text message, even through a Zoom call. You can see it sometimes
Yeah.
as well, but that's something which is being brought to the forefront. Is that something you're seeing within your leaders?
Absolutely. And I'm saying a lot, I'm talking about a lot empathy and also about compassion as well. Because as I said before, we are facing this situation in different manners. So it's what can work for me, cannot work for the other. So it's really important to see from their perspective rather than ourselves. We are not in the center. Sometimes I feel that the leadership thinks that, okay, I'm the core here, I'm the center of the universe, everything happens around me, but it's not like that. We need really to put ourselves in other places to understand what they need, which are the risks they are under. We don't know their reality. Some of our employees are working from home with the entire family there, with kids and taking care of everything. So taking care of the home, the kids, the work itself, the husband, the wife. So it's very different situation. And I think empathy is key at this moment. We really need to take care of our people.
Yeah. A bit of a random question, but have you adapted the targets and KPIs for employees and make them understand that, look, we appreciate you may not be able to hit these particular KPIs and goals because of your current situation? Is that something you've looked at and assessed?
Yeah, in our company, it's very specific because we are project related. So everything we do with timelines, with KPIs.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's we are adjusting along the way. We have been a close conversation with the employees, supported them, as I said before. But I think for them, they are very used to working on this. So even though what they need is flexibility. So what we have been doing now, for example, we have the normal working days. It's not normal anymore. So people could be connected during early in the morning while kids are still sleeping, or late in the night while kids are going to bed, for example. So you need to be flexible. We need to adjust it to their needs. So it's not about, okay, you need to start your working day at 8 o'clock in the morning and work until 5 p.m. No, it's not possible anymore. You need to understand that.
Yeah, well, my wife and I are perfect examples of that. We can look at our diaries, and we don't have a traditional 9 to 5, and we see who can look after our baby daughter during the day. And it may mean that I'll work for a few hours in the morning, and then I may work a bit later in the evening. And that's what I have to do. And similar with my wife, and that changes on a daily basis depending on the priorities as well. So that traditional 9 to 5 doesn't really apply. No longer exists.
No. Yes.
As well. And even on the weekend, for me, I would rather get a few things done on the weekend when I have a bit more spare time, and that actually makes me feel a bit better. Less stressed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have to wait until Monday morning and to do that as well. So it's but you also spoke about routines, right? Making sure, that being said, it's very important for your employees to have a good routine.
Yeah, but not the same routine that you have in the office, a different one.
Exactly.
Because nowadays we are in a situation that we are working from home 24 hours per day, because we are working for the company and working with our activities as well. So we are not moving, you're not walk around, you're not seeing the sun anymore. So it's very a torture for some people. People are facing this crisis in different ways, as I said before. So for them, it's really important to implement a routine that they could really feel that their work, even though they're at home, they are at work. So they should feel productive. So it's, as we are waking up to go for the offices, for example, you need to wake up in the morning, have a shower to really prepare your body for starting your working day. Because otherwise, you not start your day, because for example, my case, I'm here working from my bedroom. I don't have an office in my.
So this isn't my bedroom. Behind this is my bedroom. This is the screen.
Yeah. So the possibility to go to bed during my working day, it's easy like that.
What about communication? One of the things we were talking about before the show, and I spoke to many CHROs the last few weeks, is how to effectively communicate and engage employees remotely. What are your thoughts around that, and how are you currently doing this, and how are you seeing companies do it successfully?
Yeah, at the beginning of this isolation period, we are doing a lot of communication through emails and calls with around 10 employees by each time. And then we decided to implement a people survey, Chris, to really understand if we were being effective on this communication. If our employees were feeling lacking of communication of some areas, what could we do as a support area to really support our employees during this isolation in home office period? And then what they came back to us saying is that it was very hard to feel connected when we are in a chat with 10, 12, 15 people, for example. So we started to call for a short calls with a short number of people, a small number of people. So, for example, we are having now this coffee with HR. So we invite 4, 5 leaders maximum to really connect with them, to really talk about the situation, share experience, because we are learning along the way. So, okay, maybe I'm doing something that could be useful for you. So how can we really share our knowledge during this period and really be connected? I joke during the chat saying that, okay, we are in Vegas. So what happens in Vegas stay in Vegas. This is a very confidential chat. You can tell everything you want. We are not in a judgmental model here. I'm not HR, so I share a lot my feelings and emotion as well for them to understand that I'm a human. It's not because I'm a human resources that I have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I need you. I need your support. You bring me insights, and then you can create a very good alternative, a good solution for all of us. So it's really about sharing. And then we're starting to connect with these leaders, and it's evolving a lot. So I feel that they are really open now. They're talking more, and it has been useful for them to really listen to the others as well.
Yeah.
And for example, next week, we'll have our first birth of the month with all employees. It will be a long session, but around 1 hour and 30 minutes. But there will be a celebration. The first time that all the employees that are in a home office scheme now will be together talking, and many of us, it's the first time that you see each other after this period started. So I think I'm very excited about this opportunity to get to see other people and they celebrate, because you have some presents as well for the ones that are celebrating their birthday during this period. So it will be exciting.
I completely get your point. Even with a small team of mine, with 7 of us on the call, it could be difficult to make space for everyone, to share how they're feeling, how they're getting on, and in order for me as a leader to support them.
Yeah, and I think it's also about assuming that we are vulnerable. We don't have all the answers. We are not superheroes. Even though we are leaders and our team count on us, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be depressed. It's how can we face all of this? We are human, and as I said, so it's difficult for them to be vulnerable and show this vulnerability for the team.
Yeah, and just the last point you mentioned on your out of the 7 points, it was, you said, is encourage people to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help, and I think that's so important. There's so many people suffering in silence, and they don't want to bring it up. It's so important that we as leaders demonstrate ourselves that we're not perfect either, and we're all going through this, and encouraging everyone that it's okay to ask for help.
Yes, absolutely.
And
even more.
Yeah,
and even more when we are HR, because we take care of others, and who take care of HR?
I keep saying that on a lot of my shows, because a lot of the leaders I'm speaking to, I jump on a call with them. I speak to HR leaders all day, every day, and many of them I could see they're exhausted. I can see it. I'm like, how are you? They're like, oh, Chris, I work all morning. They most of them have global roles, so it's 24/7.
Yeah, we are caregivers all the time. We are in this position. So sometimes you need to say, okay, it's enough. I need to relax. I need to be with my family. I need that time for myself. I'm all the time taking care of others. So when I'm supposed to take care of myself, it's when I'm in my bathroom, locking down in my silence. So it's really something that you need to think about.
How do you think this is going to affect culture? How do you build culture remotely? Or onboard someone into the organization as part of that culture when they've never been in the office and interacted with the team?
Yeah, I would say that we are changing our companies drastically. Okay, so I think when we return to the office, if in the future we return to the office, we don't know yet. I think we'll face a completely different company, different culture as well, because past that we had, all the culture, and it's changing a lot along the way. So it's I see that, for example, one of the key elements of the culture now for us, it's flexibility. We are much more flexible in our HR process, in our way of establishing relationship within the company among the employees. So it's something that it's happening now. So much more technological, looking for the right tools to connect and to exchange experience, and our way of thinking, our minds are changing as well. So it's we are really thinking about now, how can we stop the bleeding? So how can we really save our business? Because my company is from the oil and gas industry, so we are facing a crisis within the crisis. It's not only about the pandemic 19 crisis, it's about the oil price as well. That is going high now, but again, it's we are always facing crises within this market. So we are reinventing ourselves a lot, and then automatically it's also impacting the culture, because the culture is it's about the employees, it's about the values of the organization, it's about how can we really be connected to people within the company. And for me, one of the big challenges in this moment, Chris, it's how can we keep the unicity. The teams are working direct with their leaders, but we don't see the entity CDD anymore, because it's really hard to get everybody together. We can't. So it's something that we are working on now to really establish and keep the link with the entity as well. It's not only about the teams individually, it's about the whole organization. They are working for CDG, so how can we really keep it in mind?
It's so interesting, because before, the only thing that kept you linked was that physical presence.
Yeah, how to keep engaging with the employees, motivating them, and making them understand that they're pursuing something. It's about their career, it's about their development. How can we really keep their engagement with their development as professionals in the organization? As we are commenting before the show started, at this point in time that we are very focused on our survival, and we are taking care of our well-being, our health. We are afraid of getting this disease, and we are afraid about the ones that we love. So it's very difficult to focus on the future. But we need to project a future. We need to realize that it's a moment, it's a very difficult situation you're facing, but we are overcome that. It's really important to have this positive attitude, these positive thoughts to really keep going.
In terms of the health and well-being, are you also doing anything else to help employees in regards to their health and fitness?
It's very tricky, this question, because the issue is the following. We can offer everything. We can offer apps, we can offer shows, we can offer classes, online classes for the employees. But again, what is the drive that this person has now to focus on their fitness, for example? It's a very specific moment. So it's really important to let them understand that they need to move, they need to go to action. Because how I feel today, Chris, is that I starting to see that people are demonstrating lack of energy, a bit of depression, and it's completely normal, okay? They have been in their homes for more than 2 months now.
They're not getting any vitamins D, right? Not enough sun, which is obviously, of course, which is, immediately going to make you feel more down and depressed, because you're not getting that. As well. So even I've started making sure I schedule walks during the day, so I can get that sun and the vitamin D as well, to make sure I'm not going to get even more stressed out as well. But you are right, you can provide the apps, you can provide all of those tools. It doesn't mean they're going to use it. You need to,
what you're doing now is to work with bodies. And what I mean by that is that person that is dealing with this crisis quite well, he should be supporting a peer that seems that is not working so well, that is facing the situation not so well. So it's someone that you'll be together with this employee doing the yoga class, for example, together. Okay, it's not only having the tools available for use, it's how can we really support the employees really to use, having some motivation from others, some examples. So it's how can we really encourage people to be connecting this way as well, to help, to really help each other.
Yeah, I do those every day with the team, and we also do Friday night, so tonight, and then with some family members and friends, I do Saturday night. So it's always and what I don't know if everyone on LinkedIn, let me know in the comments. We're finding that I'm finding in my team, we're connecting more with friends and family and other peers than we would before.
Yes.
Beforehand. So I'm connecting with friends, family members around the world that I may not have spoken to that much before this, and all of a sudden, I'm having these quiz nights and these gaming nights on through video calls and connecting with people on a more meaningful level than ever before, because we're on there, we're being vulnerable. People are sharing how they're feeling and what they're going through. And normally during a work environment, you don't get the opportunity to do that, because you're just kind of going from meeting to meeting, doing your work. You don't sit down and say, how are you feeling today? Whereas on these calls, we're making more of a conscious effort to see how is everyone doing now. So it's actually been an amazing experience. I hope it continues.
I hope to, because I'm now reconnecting with some people that I have lost in the past. So now we are talking more, seeing each other more through videos, and I think it's very, very positive.
You said to me before this call that you don't think we might not go back to work. Can you explain what you meant by that?
So, for example, I think in my company, we are 100% working from home. And because in Brazil, it's just one business line, which is the seismic imaging. So we work with our computers. We produced a really office from home, a real one with the big screens available for all employees that need this equipment for working, for example. So they are working well from home with good performance. Saying that probably are not coming back to the office so early because we are not exposure to our employees to an environment that we still have the disease if they are able to work from home well. So what we're doing now, for example, is delivering office chairs for all employees, really taking care of support for the feet, and really giving support on the ergonomic side, okay, to really build an office in their homes. For them, they could keep working from there. I don't need to come back to the office anymore. I don't have because why? And even if we come back, I cannot meet you one-on-one anymore. So my meeting rooms will be locked. I could not receive clients in the office anymore for long meetings as we had before. My living space that we are so proud of that we delivered last year for our employees, we cannot use anymore because you need to avoid a big number of people in the same space. So the environment that you have nowadays is completely different from the past. I will not jeopardize the safety of our employees just to come back to an office. There is no meaning.
Just because, right? Literally, just because.
Exactly. Yeah. And from this environment of working from home as well, Chris, we can work from everywhere. This from home work, it means that you can go to a different house location, a different area of the country, and if you have a Wi-Fi and you have the equipment available, you can work very well from where you are. So for me, this is what we have been discussing a lot in the past: flexible working, flexibility. How can we really rebuild the work environment? It's happening now. So it's the reason I don't think there will be this return to the office. And if it will be like, okay, all the measures, all the security procedures, so avoiding contact, and probably less than the half of my workforce will be back to the office to really respect the distance that we need to have between people. So it's a lot of things that you need to think about to really be able to return to the office. And I think that for us, the Latin America countries, it's a huge and dramatic change on our culture as well, because we touch, we kiss, we hug, we shake hands all the time. Yeah. And it will not happen anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know when I'll give a hug from now on. And it's the reality,
It's so sad. Even we're not as much in the UK, but there are certain people I see, and even during I live in my local area, and I'm like, hi, and you have to stop yourself, right? Or even my little one, Robin, is so sad when I have to stop her from playing with the other kids. That breaks my heart. When I take Robin for a walk and we see other kids running around in the park, and she wants to go and play, and she doesn't understand why Daddy's saying no, you can't, and she's looking at me like, why can't I go and play with the other kids? It's just heartbreaking. to do that. But we're in this situation. But I appreciate you joining us, Gabrielle. If there's anything else you wanted to sort of add to the conversation before we wrap up?
Yeah, I just want to give a final message, which is keep positive thoughts, keep positive attitude. We will overcome this. I'm pretty confident. And don't be afraid of the future, because the future is now. We are living it now. So it's something that we discover together. We are discovering it together.
Yeah, just focus. And that's a great message or anything was, control the controllables, right? Control what's within your control, your environment, your mental well-being, and try not to stay away from social media, stay away from as well, and surround yourself with positivity.
Absolutely.
I'll be honest. There's some people in my group that I don't communicate as much with because they're always very negative. I'm like, right now, I need to be around people who are moving forward and not focusing on the past and focusing on things that we can't change. I'm not going to, use my energy and time on things that I cannot control. Control the controllables, control yourself, your environment, and you'll be a lot happier for it as well.
Absolutely.
And if you need any help, reach out to us, to Gabriella, to me. You're not alone. We're all in this together. Always happy to hear from you all. Thank you so much, Gabriella. Before I wrap up, where can everyone reach out to you, say hello if they want to connect?
Yeah, I'm completely open to connections and LinkedIn. Just find me there, Gabrielle Botelho. I'll be really glad to connect with you all.
Fantastic. All right. Have a good weekend, Gabriella. I'll see you again soon.
You too.
Right? Yeah, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.